and we all need that knowledge. And to share that with us, we have Timur. He's like he's a very cool guy. Like you must be knowing him like from the Twitter itself. He shares a bunch of cool new hacks and tips and tricks every day. And yes, he probably I still remembered he shared a like complete thread to learn about Rust, the approach where like if you are a new learner, I want to like looking forward to learn Rust. I like he is the guy to look forward and to just dump your questions. So right now we have Timur from Halborn Security and like the Rust enthusiast. We will allow him to introduce himself because yes, it would be the right thing. So Timur, like the stage is all yours, and we all are very excited to get all the information from you. So stage is all yours, Timur. Just keep rocking.
Yeah, all right, all right. Thank you for having me. I'm gonna be having my morning coffee with you because it's a bit early in here. But yeah, hopefully it's gonna be fun for you to watch. So let me share my screen super quickly. Okay. Uh, yeah, just give me a second. All right. So hopefully you can see my screen, and let's get started. So the whole purpose of this talk is to show you an alternative way to get into Web3 hacking through Rust, because I haven't seen many information about this anywhere. So I guess it's gonna be super useful for you guys. And yeah, give you a small how to start guide and give you and convey you a message that it's not super hard to get started with the Rust Web3 security. You actually don't need to know a lot of stuff to start auditing Rust-based Web3 applications. So yeah, a bit about me. I'm a senior security engineer at Halborn. I'm working primarily with Rust-based chains, auditing most of the time near and substrate-based projects. Um, I love coding in Rust, as you might guess. I love teaching, sharing knowledge, and yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Timur Guvenkaya, and you can follow Halborn at Halborn Security. So yeah, you can just check out the small agenda. We'll start about how you, why you should be learning Rust for Web3 hacking in the first place. Then we'll move forward to more practical stuff in the way that how you should be learning this and what are the resources available. Show you some examples of chain specific and chain agnostic issues, and then I'll share my tip that I use, because in the Rust security world you're gonna be, unless you want to super specialize in one chain, you're going to be jumping from one chain to another, so you have to know how to pick up the get the information about the chain and about the code and about the patterns that developers use in a specific chain super quickly. So I'm going to be sharing my tip with you, and at the end I'm going to share some resources. Cool. So why Rust for Web3 hacking? You probably know all of those guys like Solana, Bad Bird is Kusama, Polkadot, Near, Terra. What do they have in common? Yeah, those are Rust-based chains, and usually applications that deploy on them uh, are built in Rust. Though, for instance, Near has smart contracts in Rust. Obviously, I mean, most of them have EVM support, but still, the native one is Rust. So, I mean, Polkadot just recently launched parachains and Kusama also. So, I mean, amount of projects that you can hack on is growing. So, I mean, that's amazing time to get in. I mean, as I already mentioned, the growth of Rust-based chains is increasing. Also, the thing to consider, Web3 Rust security scene is not as saturated as the Solidity one. What does it mean for you? Yeah, I mean, if you're a bug bounty hunter, less competition on the Rust-based project because not many people are going to be hacking on them. So you can have more chances to getting a bug first. And since less people know Web3 Rust security, you're obviously going to be more valuable in the market, which is going to help you to land a new job if you're looking forward. And again, because of this, that because Rust security is less, let's say, popular right now. You have not a lot of research has been done in many areas, so you have a lot of opportunities to do your own research, maybe come up with new attack techniques, and a lot more. So you might become a pioneer uh, in some interesting attack scenarios. And yeah, again, many companies are looking forward to hiring Web3 Rust security professionals because of those reasons above. So it's amazing time to just get started. Or if you already know Solidity, you can just have also Rust. And if you just add Rust next to it, you're gonna become even more valuable and even better security professional. So okay, how to start learning Web3 Rust security? I mean, as you probably guessed, you have to learn Rust. I mean, fortunately, that's the reality. But don't be scared. I mean, look, you don't have to know everything. I'm gonna be telling this to you a lot during this talk. So the the main part is to understand the code that you're auditing. You have to get comfortable reading Rust more than writing Rust. So in this case, I mean, first 10 chapters of the book is enough for you. Obviously, I mean, some, I mean, many programming tutorials, if you went over them, tell you that you should build a small project. Yeah, that's actually true. You're gonna learn a lot from it. And the one thing, if you're a security professional, I would strongly suggest you to check out Black Hat Rust. Um, the guy made amazing book that just teaches you how to build some hacking tools using Rust. I mean, that's gonna be a fun learning experience for you. Again, I mean, don't not afraid to ask questions. I mean, Rust community is super welcoming from my experience, and don't. It's okay. I mean, to struggle understanding. If you know a bit Rust, you know there's concept of ownership or borrowing. It's okay to struggle with this. And it's okay to fight the compiler all the time because I mean, compiler in Rust is unforgiving, but it's a good thing. I mean, less runtime bugs for developers. So, and again, as I mentioned before, you don't need to know all to start building or your own application, maybe your own tools, and understanding how other applications work. So yeah, that's the basics of learning Rust. And again, I mean, learning Rust is one thing, but unfortunately, as I mentioned before, each chain is different. I mean, if you want to get into auditing chains in Substrate, in Polkadot, you have to know Substrate. blockchain development framework. That's one thing. And if you want to start auditing smart contracts on Near, you have to know how smart contracts are built on Near. Even though both of them are written in Rust, they are completely different. So yeah, first you after learning Rust, you have to learn the basics of contract chain development for the target that you picked. I mean, again, no need to know everything, and the easiest thing that the tip that I can give you to learn chain specific development is to go over some basic tutorials and then read a lot of code. I'm gonna touch that thing a bit later, later in this presentation, but just let me give it out for you right now. So, know your chain agnostic issues. What are the chain agnostic issues? Those issues that exist in every single chain as long as they're written in Rust. And usually those are Rust security issues because, I mean, if the application is written on Rust, it's gonna have integer overflows. It's gonna have casting overflows. It might have stack overflows. And if application uses unsafe Rust, those guys are also gonna be there. So you can just start with the Rust security because that's a nice foundation for you to continue exploring the more chain specific bug types. So just lay a foundation, learn the Rust security. I'm going to be sharing resources at the end, so no worries about this. But let me just give you a quick how-to guide so that you know where to start your learning adventures. So yeah, learn Rust security. If you already know how to find integer overflows and casting overflows, you'll be able to find some bugs in real world applications written in Substrate, Near, Solana, doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, you're already doing a great job. So know your chain agnostic issues, access control. Access control issues exist in any chain. Again, um, the bug class is chain agnostic, but in every single chain, access control is obviously different. But I still put the chain agnostic issues because the bug type overall is exists in every single chain, and it's super low effort and high reward to just when you go into like learning Near, let's say, I want to start auditing Near smart contracts. Just learn the access control rules patterns first. That's super low effort, high reward. Then you combine this with the Rust security issues. Oh, amazing! I mean, you already can find a lot of bugs because you'll be surprised how many times I've seen people forgetting to put some ownership checks on their private functions. So that's super low effort, high reward. So I always suggest to start with access control issues when learning a new chain. This is an example of the substrate and Near access control differences. Since the first one is Near, like in the first row. So I mean, as you can see from here, we are just checking the predecessor account ID. And you can think of the Solidity in Solidity terms as message sender to be equal to owner. If it's not, we're gonna panic. So it's correct. I mean, it's fine. But here we forgot to put it, and now anyone can pose the smart contract. Here, equivalent example in Substrate. In Substrate, we have the origin who is responsible for toggling a shutdown, basically like pausing a function. And here we don't have it. We only check whether the call is signed. That's all. That's all. So I mean, as you can see, I mean, it's super easy to find access control bugs in that sense. And if you already know how to find those, plus, as I mentioned before, knowing some Rust security issues, you already in an amazing place. Another one, logical bugs. Any software has logical bugs. And if you read enough Rust, and as long as you can read Rust, you can find a chain specific logical box. I mean, easily as long as you understand the application, logical bugs are gonna pop out. So it's as easy to find logical bugs as long as you understand the application, obviously. And to get better at understanding application, you have to get more comfortable reading Rust and reading the chain specific code. And about that in the and about the way you should be learning it is later on. So yeah, again, congratulations. You already know more about Rust, Web3 security than the most people can. At this point, you know Rust. I'm assuming, like, just imagine you at this point you learned Rust security, just the Rust security issues, the basic ones like integer overflows, casting overflows, etc. Then you already know how to find access control bugs in your chain, and plus you're comfortable reading and understanding the code, so you can find the logical bugs. So amazing, you're already doing a great job. And then afterwards, if we move to more chain specific issues, if you learn those, you're going to be even better. The whole message I'm trying to convey here is it's not super hard to get started. So just start with Rust security, learn access control bug, get used to reading Rust code to find logical bugs, and now you're already doing a great job, as I mentioned before. So get to know your chain specific issues. Um, these are types of vulnerabilities that exist only in a certain chain. So I mean, that chain specific issue exists, let's say, only in substrate, but doesn't exist in near. So that's an example. And yeah, uh, as I mentioned before, then there are not many research that have been done. There are not as many Rust Web 3 security folks out there, so you have opportunity to invent new chain specific bugs and attack scenarios, attack vectors. Like if you decide to concentrate on substrate, you might invent some new stuff there, or near, you might invent some new stuff there. So it's an amazing place to be in. And here is an example of the chain specific vulnerability for substrate. Verify first, write last. The basic example that in substrate, you are not building smart contracts, you're building chains. And the state in substrate is not cached, and there are no like reverts in errors like by default. So what it means for you, you have to verify the data that you're writing first. So for instance, let me just give you an example. Here we just like simple example, we applying for something and we are sending our application, and there is like a minimum application deposit. So if you check the code, if you're coming from smart contract background, let's say, you're reading this code and like, okay, we're inserting to a storage like the sender and some application struct with some data. And then we're ensuring that deposit is bigger or equal to minimum application deposit. If it's not, we're throwing an error and then sending an event. Unfortunately, if you put like, let's say you put a low deposit in here, you will trigger this error for sure. You'll trigger this error, but unfortunately, since state, since you're already written into a storage in here, your deposit, even if you trigger an error in here, you'll still have this thing in the storage that can be used later on. That's super bad. I mean, that's why you have to always verify first, which means putting that ensure statement before you inserting or removing or mutating a storage right here. So yeah, that's one chain specific bug in substrate. I mean, and it doesn't exist in near, for instance. And yeah, the tip that I was mentioning before, and it's key. It was actually key for me. I hope you'll also find it useful to learn a new language or new chain, because if you're passionate about like a Rust security and Rust based chains, you want to try many different things, and because of this, you have to learn how to pick up how to get comfortable reading the code and understanding the code quickly. So that was the thing that helped me. I mean, surveying technique. What means is you have to basically get exposed to large volumes of the code uh, on a daily basis, or at least, I mean, as I mentioned there, like 3 times a week. Uh, Basically, reading a lot of code. I mean, it doesn't matter. You don't need to go super deep inside. Just for instance, you picked near. You went over the basic, let's say, development, like a couple of tutorials. Then, while working on your, like, let's say, Rust security issues, just go every single day. Just pick a project that you like and skim through its code. That's all. I mean, just skim through its code. Then go to another project. Just skim through its code. You don't need to go deep. You just want to read as much code as possible to catch patterns. That's what you need to do. Like, as you can see, like, the benefits of surveying, you want to, when you're reading a lot of code, you'll recognize some patterns. You'll see that many developers doing similar things. They're using similar access control patterns, and if you encounter something that is off, you'll be able to quickly recognize it and be like, I've seen this before. It looks incorrect. Let me go deeper into this. So it's super quickly, and it's going to help you navigate the the new code base quicker, and also get used to reading a lot of Rust code, which will help you to audit stuff quicker and understand what a certain function does. You may also encounter some new syntax, new patterns, mm, new APIs from the SDK that a certain project uses that you haven't seen before, which will increase your overall knowledge. So yeah, those are the resources that I compiled for you. There is like Black Hat Trust that I mentioned before. Uh, I'm pretty sure you'll like it. I have a feeling about this. The guy just built a lot of cool hacking stuff, hacking tools with Rust, so you can just read through it and build it at your own pace. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fun experience for you. Fuzzing Labs is another one. Um, they have an amazing tutorial for Rust auditing and fuzzing. If you're interested in those, I'm strongly suggesting you to check it out. Quality is amazing. I really liked taking their course. And this one, it's just my thread on Twitter. You can just go over it. I also shared some resources in there also. And let's get Rust U channel. Basically, the guy has a playlist of the Rust book. First, I can't remember 10 chapters or so in the video format. If you like watching video more, just check this Let's Get Rust YouTube channel. And the next channel is more, let's say, for more advanced Rust people. The guy has like a 2 hour, 4 hour streams where he dives deep into one specific topic, for instance, Rust macros or some pointers, um, and so on and so forth. So if you reach certain level of Rust knowledge, I'm strongly suggesting you to check this YouTube channel out to learn uh, more about specific topics that you find interesting. I mean, the Rust book, everyone knows Rust book who's in Rust community. Uh, just the standard, the first thing that usually everyone tells you to take. Rustonomicon. Um, if you don't know, in Rust there is like a safe Rust and unsafe Rust. Unsafe Rust basically tells the compiler no worries about this specific code. Developer knows what he's doing. Developer knows what the code does, and he knows that there won't be any issues. But usually it's not the case. So Rustonomicon goes over all the Rust, unsafe Rust patterns and ways how to write them correctly to avoid some Rust issues that I mentioned before, like double free, use after free, etc. And the secure Rust guidelines, again, as you may guess from the title, those are secure Rust guidelines, how to um, how to handle errors, how to manage crate, and yeah, that's it about the resources in here. So yeah, that was a quick overview of everything I want to cover in this talk. It was high level because there are not many resources out there, and I wanted to first give you a high level overview of everything that I think are going to be beneficial for your journey, and hopefully in the next conferences, if I join, I'll go into deep into some of the topics. So yeah, do you have any questions? Let me stop the screen sharing.
Uh, Hey Timur, we got some queries from the community. So the first query is: are there any chain-related libraries standards out there to take a look? Maybe be it a Web3 Rust frameworks, like
Uh,
Solidity kind of thing. Yeah.
Standards out there. I mean, for near, yes. For instance, I'm just gonna talk from the uh, from near. There's like a near Rust SDK that people use to develop near smart contracts, and there are also some near standards. I'll share the link afterwards in the chat if I find it. But they have like a already like if you think about the ERC20 or any other standards. Those guys also build those, so you
Mm-hmm.
can directly read through their code and understand how the standard stuff is built. So, for instance, for Near, there is a similar thing. Actually, and for Substrate also, there is like a open runtime module library, which also built a lot of like a standard stuff in a secure manner. So I'll share all of the resources in the whatever you tell me. So
Yeah, I mean, you can just drop in the private chat, and we would just share with the community.
yeah, yeah, sure. Just give me format
Uh,
ML.
Coming to the next,
Uh,
yeah. Okay. Mm,
Let me just do this. Yeah, here we go. Okay, where can I pay? Okay, I shared with you, and this one near smart contract standard, and this one.
yeah, cool. So, I mean, we got another question. So in the for Rust smart contracts, is there a way to disassemble compiled code, like disassemble bytecode to opcodes for Ethereum virtual machine?
Um, yes, I mean you can look when the Rust code, for instance, for smart contracts are compiled. They're usually compiled in the WASP format, in the WebAssembly format. Obviously, you can reverse engineer it back, decompile, but there is no way to like. In many cases, there is no ABI available, so it's hard to get the actual code back. So that's the quick answer.
Okay, like Davis says, fuzzing lab seems costly.
Yes, I mean, yes, it is. But if you have, let's say, you obviously, I mean, if it's costly, but if you have some additional money to spare, I'll strongly suggest you to take this. But free resources are also available out there. I share the basic Rust security issues out there. You can literally just Google them, every single one, and you'll find some resources out there about every single one of them, like a Google integer overflows in Rust. You'll find some articles about how to find them, how to exploit them. So, but Fuzzing Labs provides you a more structured way, as any course would do.
Yeah, and GN says thank you, Timur. It was a fantastic talk.
Oh, thank you very much. I really like being here.
So I guess we don't have any more questions from the community as of now. And guys, I mean, if you whenever you have any queries, just feel free to uh, drop in the Discord server. We have every speaker out there. And okay, Razor would like to ask you a question. Please, Razor.
Yeah, hi Timur. So yeah, it was really wonderful. Yeah, I'm just making my notes of like which thing to go for next, right? But yeah, it was amazing, and I just want to know like, are there any kind of let's say CDFs available, or some challenges for everyone to play, or like practice their
Hmm.
knowledge, something like that?
CTFs. Haven't seen any, to be honest.
Hmm.
I mean, we have. I mean, Max. No, haven't seen any, to be honest. Actually, that might be an opportunity for all of you guys to learn and build some cool CTFs. I mean, why
Right.
not?
Yes, we really want that, right? So everyone just watching this, just uh, take some motivation. Go ahead and let's build that, right? Let's have some CDFs because
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
there is no like a Etherenaut or something like that in the like a standard thing that everyone knows about in the Rust community. So
right.
you might
But
just start with
yes,
this.
there were a lot many resources which was shared, and I hope everyone had made their notes. But all of these slides and the resources attached to it will be shared in the community itself, so you can definitely go ahead, rewatch this video, the presentation, and correlate the information that you want to learn, and just keep rocking and get into the rust and just be rusty. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So yeah, once again, thank you so much, Timur, for like I know it's super early for you and taking out some time. And yeah, I know it's Sunday for you. You're supposed to sleep a bit longer. But
No
yeah,
worries, no worries, no worries. It was worth it. I liked it very much. So
thank you so much. And once again, obviously, you are like doing it on a daily basis. You're sharing your stuff, but still, we are looking forward to see you soon. Very soon, maybe in our next event or so. But yes, thank you so much for sharing the information and all. And have a great day. I guess. Are you going to sleep again?
no, no, no. I definitely won't be sleeping tonight. So
All right. So, yep. Looking forward to see you soon. And have a great day, sir. Bye bye.
have a nice one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.